Let me rephrase it. United will be established as a top four side within two summer windows. Take a compliment, bro. I feel you're scared with the past managers.
Actually, so the reason I'm arguing timelines with you is not because I'm scared. It's because like I don't like the idea that people think within 18 months I can only start speaking about a certain topic. That's what people do. I hate that. There's people right away that say, you know what, I will not speak on the manager being in or out until 18 months. I'll give him a full assessment in 18 months. And I'm like, why? You don't know how quick or slow he's going to hit the ground running. And that's like Angel's an example. Last season, he hit the ground running. It was amazing. And then the drop off has been crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's not even 18 months. And there's a lot of Spurs fans that want him out. But a season ago, they were saying they're going to win the league. And that's what I'm trying to say. Timelines are fictional. They're not real. Time is just not tangible. It's a calendar. You look at a calendar and you count the days, but it doesn't really mean anything. For all I know, Amorim can come in right now and instill his philosophy a lot quicker and his identity and leave a stamp on this team a lot quicker than most managers could do. So if he does that, why do I have to wait until 2 years to say, you know what, now I'm ready to compete or not? I get the point he's trying to make. He's just projecting that in 2 years, United will be ready to compete or be a solidified top four. I'm not gonna give it 2 years because could take a year or it could take 4 years. I'm just gonna assess it as it goes. Every game, I'm gonna look at the improvements. I'm gonna look at the regression, and based on that, game after game, I'm gonna be like, all right, do I think we're good enough to be top four? Do I think we're good enough to compete? I'm not gonna give it a time. I'm just gonna wait and see. I think that's the way to do it. I don't like to lose timelines. I'm sorry.
No, I understand where you're coming from, mate. Ruben here says replacing the manager again after a short stay, buying players that fit a different profile for a different style of play, added a good amount of youth. Sounds like Chelsea. It just sounds like a structure, my friend. A lot of Chelsea fans say that, but this is gross revisionism. Ten Hag did try to build from the back against Brighton and Brentford and reverted to a double pivot when we lost. This side cannot play high-intensity games consistently.
Okay, good. That's a very good point. So he did that in the first two games. First of all, the fact that he gave up after two games shows me one or two things. He's either a coward or he didn't prepare good enough. And the fact that he never revisited it for how long? Because he's been here for what? Well, we just sacked him, so he was here for over 2 years. He never really went back to what he did in those first two games. The only time he tried to play more expensive was last season, and he didn't play it the same way. He was doing the 3-1-6 thing. And that's not how he played the first two games against Brentford and Brighton. Against Brentford and Brighton, the mistake he made, I thought he underestimated the intensity of the Premier League. That was the mistake that I think, because he played one game, he played what's his name in the false nine, Eric's in the false nine. And then we went away to Brentford and he played him in the six alone. So he underestimated the intensity of the league. That's why I'm saying he never even went back to it. Whereas Amorim, he's standing on business. The reason Amorim is not on at Liverpool is because he told him he wants to play a certain formation that doesn't fit their squad. So they both agreed, you know what, it's not going to work. That just shows me how persistent he is with his plans. So if he's going to persist with his plans and it takes a while to work, I'm just going to already give him one check mark and be like, you know what, you did something Ten Hag didn't do, which is stick to your identity. And that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I think there is something in that almost you've at the time, I didn't really see it as much of an issue. I thought it would come, but it was even then when he went to the double pivot, it was like we started playing well, and then he did revert away from that, and it fell apart. And it was, well, you found something that was working in terms of winning and winning trophies. Grow from that point, and it was just we never had that fixed style, and I think it's needed in today's game. Would you take Arsenal's last 5 years for United's next 5 years?
Hell no. Hell no. Why would I do that?
Not now that I know
trophies.
Yeah, not now.
5 years of buying dogs and adopting dogs and hell no. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I don't need to blow up this team like what's his name did. Arteta did. Arteta came in and completely blew up that team. I don't need to do that. Most of my players are good enough to be here. No, of course not. I would. There's probably not a lot of phases in Arsenal's history that I would take United anyways. Because my successful periods is more successful than theirs, and my down periods is probably not as worse as theirs. So why would I would never do that.
Runin here says, Terry, but we did it. LB said we aren't serious. Oh, I get that. I mean, LB's not here though. To answer that, like I don't know I can't remember what these boys said. I just said that you guys, I understood the youth all along. You know, I did. I understood why you were buying youth. The only thing I ever stated is you need to go out and buy some more experienced players, and you did that this summer, and you're a much better team for it. So that element, I 100% agree with. This here says Mike Tyson or Jake Paul. Who you guys got?
I have to for the like. It's funny because I was thinking we talked about this. No, it was before. Like for the good of boxing, Mike Tyson protects boxing and beats Jake Paul.
Wait, Terry, can you put that comment from Danielle Sinha? Third last guy. Staffy, you're obviously too young to see Arsenal 1997 to 2006. All right, was that period more successful than United? Because in that period, there's 3 Premier Leagues and a treble in there.
Yeah, that's an insane.
So why would I still swap that with United? I know United weren't good post that because what? It took us from 2000 and what until 2006 to win the league. I think we didn't win the league we
won it in
2000, 4 and 5, and then we won it in 06 or
no,
07.
we won it in 2003. Arsenal won it in 2004, and then it was 05, 06.
Then Chelsea won 2,
and then we won 3. Yeah.
So still in that period, as much as United weren't good in up until 2006, the first 3 years in that time you just gave, United had 3 leagues and a treble.
Yeah,
like I'm talking about just
you don't need to be any age to go and look at trophy wins in years. Like you don't have to be born then to know that Man United were more successful.
This year, regarding back to Ten Hag, it says he misunderstood the skill set of the personnel. I have been following the man since 2018, and I know he is a top manager, but if he had stuck to his philosophy, he would have been sacked that season.
And he got sacked 2 seasons after. So it was a loss for him.
Do you know what it is, though, Shetty, when it comes to this? But this is what I remember. When the manager came out and said that he can't stick to his philosophy and play it here, this is why I wanted him gone. It's not about him. And this is what I think happens to a lot of people. It's not about a personal vendetta against Ten Hag. There's no point hiring a world-class pastry chef who is the best in the world at making pastry but makes nothing else and saying, you're now on the meat section in my restaurant. Man United made a bigger mistake than Ten Hag. We hired a manager and then we didn't give him the tools and the resources and essentially force him to coach the brand of football that he was kind of famed for. It made no sense. And we do that all the time at Man United. We need a plumber and we hire a brain surgeon. We need a heart surgeon and we go and get a plasterer. We just do weird stuff. And this is why people have got to drop their subjective, emotional, passionate views about individual players or managers and understand that it's about getting the right collective together. So yeah, I think that's really, really important. Viewers, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing. If I don't see the 4-3-4-3 next game, then I'm Amorim out, is what Grace.
Let me ask Grace something. What if he tweaks the way he plays? Because I still expect him to tweak what he did, because I don't expect him to copy. Like, it can't be a carbon copy of everything he did in the Portuguese league in the Premier League. Because, like, let's be honest, the intensity of the Premier League is way higher than anything he faced in the Portuguese league. I'm going to challenge you and say, what if he plays his same formation, but he tweaks it a little bit? So maybe instead of, and I'm just going to throw hypothetical, because I think he might do that at times, but I don't know if he will. What if he sometimes, instead of plays 2 10s and a striker, he plays a 10 and 2 strikers? What if his wing backs, because we've seen the heat maps for his wing backs. His wing backs spent most of the game in the opposition's half, which shows me that they play more as wingers and they just track back. So they're more traditional wingers than they are wing backs. What if he plays with a little bit more defensive-minded wing backs, because he knows that on the break in the Premier League, you're left a lot more exposed than in Liga NOS in the Portuguese league, because we've seen even Pep struggle for years against the transition when he's been a position side. Would you go out on him if he just made those changes? I'm just going to throw it out there. Think about it, because I don't expect him to do everything 100%. I expect the same. Your philosophy can always be the same, but you can change a little bit of your tactics and your formation.
And by the way, Pep changes almost every year elements because people start working it out. So this idea that he has to do everything the same forever, I think, again, is a crazy standard to set.